Hi, this is BZ Rieger with the Quantum Playground. And I wanted to do a rambling by the river. This is the North Fork of the Stilly River behind me. Heading down to the Puget Sound and then out to the Pacific Ocean. And it's just a nice place to be. I wanted to play with hidden in plain sight. And there's much to that phrase. There's many layers, many threads, many frequencies, many dimensions, many nuances to that. So one of the levels that you could look at right now is everything that's going on in the world out there. You could think of France as hidden in plain sight, and the reported gas tax, which is making all those naughty Parisians and spread all over the rest of France stand up with sun-bright yellow vests and act badly. In Berlin, all over the EU, different countries. So it's not about, as I'm sure most beings have guessed, even if they don't know the larger meaning context of it, it's not about what the MSM has for headlines. Some other things that are more linear, obvious, hidden in plain sight is, as I record this is December 3rd, middle of the day Pacific time. And the viewing and all that of George Herbert Walker Bush, who is said to have died on November 30th. And you could look into that and see that there's lots of things hidden in plain sight about that. One of the things I wanted to play with in that particular thing about his public viewing, well, the casket, the viewing of the box with the flag, is there are many levels and layers hidden in plain sight, and I'll put up on the IUV a picture that shows some of them. One of it is that in the rotunda you'll see people all around, captured in the kind of the curl of the crowd as they circle around, is captured in the form of a Q. The casket and the draping that it lays on is just so squared off and centered on the stones in the rotunda area that if you look at the colorings, the mosaic pattern they could present, you can see a Q. The flag over the coffin, well, it's a rectangle, so one angle it would be correct as a flag, and the other angle would be what I'm talking about. So it's the flag upside down within the circle of the Q. So those could be obvious things that, you know, they're hidden because you didn't take long enough time to look at the photograph or watch the video and see them. But I wanted to play with the hidden in plain sight beyond that. So for one, the flag inverted is the inverted matrices of what the polarized service to self structure does. Is it inverts all that is an expansion in trajectory back to source and love. All of that is inverted. So dark and light, you could say truth and deceit. But anyways, there's many layers. I'm not going to go into all of them, but there's many layers just in that. That's hidden in plain sight. And the Q, yeah, could refer to QAnon and all that on one level. For certain, it's a much deeper hidden in plain sight on the quantum level, the multidimensional level of all that we are. And that is in being employed by all those who are on the team of Q. And another way to actually explore that a little further is that we're all Q, because we're all multidimensional, we're all part of this, we're all needed in bringing all of this home, and it's not just on this planet. And so that also speaks to the quantum nature or the quantum entanglement that is going on. And again, that since we're all acting, flowing, unwinding and unbinding all of this false construct, that includes both from a linear perspective sides, the white hats and the black hats, the evil and the good, however you want to hold it. And so as each of those particles, and you could simplify it and say there's two particles, there's the dark and the light. And as there's that entanglement of those quantum particles, they flow together and they represent the whole. So that's another hidden in plain sight. There's much else along that. With all the energies that are flowing and shifting and changing everything about everything. All the water you see, all the trees you see, the foothills and mountains. Well, there's some mountains right over there you can't see in this shot. Actually, there's another Olympic mountain range behind me. You can't quite see from this shot. Cascade Mountains are that way. Anyways, all of these things, myself, Keegan, who's laying right here, licking a stone from the riverbed. So all of these things that you see and can see wherever you are in your moment, this moment, everything's changing. The quantum structure of everything is changing. You could say it's up leveling, it's expanding, everything. And so all of that is hidden in plain sight, and in these shifts and changes, one way you could discover in the hidden in plain sight is that we have an eagle who's flying over. Maybe he'll come on back. Come on, eagle. And fly right in the screen. That would be nice. Bald eagle. that they're I'm watching it go in the tree. Itching to go get my my camera, my long lens out to take some pictures. I've been fishing in the river, the salmon. Anyways, one linear way you could describe it, what you're seeing hidden in plain sight revealing itself, is that your future self is meeting your present self, and in that is co-creation together for you to create the new being, that trinity of creation. And in that resulting being that comes from those two, the merger and connection of those with your, you could hold it as your higher capabilities, your future self's capabilities, and this being's linear capabilities. You could hold it what you see unwinding and unbinding of all of the structures and systems, the falling away of the old, the falling of the curtains that we erected for ourselves to shade us from remembering all that we knew when we came into this embodiment. And all of that is, the visual I just got is, as all of that implodes to a pinprick of total collapse, total unwinding and unbinding, it then has this ignition point where it has that point of ignition and unfolds in the new creation of everything. So, kind of everything collapses down to this pinpoint and everything then ignites out. And remember that the out there that you see, feel, have the perception that you're experiencing, and that it's firm, solid matter, comes as the last stage of creation. So in what I was describing as all of this implodes, this is the linear nature of it, the funerals, the various things that you're seeing in France and all over, happening within you personally, within your sphere of connection with others. So that's the tangible is all doing its last part of breaking down, which means for those who may be frustrated, are we there yet? That tells you what, if you had been feeling to what I just said, is so that it's already occurred in the creation point, in that no formness, it's already taken place, the completion, the totally unwinding and unbinding, the ta-da, it's done, has already come, and now we're seeing it play out on the stage, just like if you're watching a play. Well, the play's got to be written before the play gets on Broadway, and you can get your playbill and sit in your seats, to get all ready for the house lights to dim a couple times and let you know that the play is about to begin. The play didn't just spontaneously erupt on the stage with costumes and choreography and the stage sets and lighting and blocking and all that kind of stuff. It was all, imagined and created and put down, and all sorts of beings work to do it. So it's the same thing. We get so caught up in the tangible, and a lot of that is on purpose. And we perpetuate that on purposeness. Anyway, so what I wanted to bring is that's coming down, and so again, as using that pictorial, my hands, pictorial metaphor of everything collapsing to that pinpoint, and at the same time that ignition spark of new being created in that center part where the two meet, right? The ignition spark is the creation in no form, which has been going actually on for a while. We've all been taking part in that. Yes, even you, even if you don't remember it, you have been, because we're all in this together. And so then we bring out into our physical universes, and each one of us creates those by our own power as kick-ass creator beings in design. And we bring those into form. And we can do that at varying perceived rates of speed, depending on where we are in the consciousness and the expansion of our frequency vibration that we're holding. So that's a deeper, level and threads in the frequency of hidden in plain sight, because we already have that right here, right now within us. We're already doing that. And it may be hidden from, many particular beings, a particular being, however you want to hold it, but it's hidden in plain sight because I'm right here, or you're right there, or, however you want to look at individuals or groups, however your focus is, if you're just thinking about, yourself and how you're perceiving things, or maybe listen to this conversation and what I'm trying to relay. So when we get out of our heads and get into our hearts and we feel into it and don't immediately ascribe a storyline, a narrative, kind of locked in descriptors for things, and instead just encounter whatever it is we are encountering and be with it. What do we notice? And in that noticing, what then forms? What unfolds? What do we behold from that? And you can do that with anything. Person, an Australian shepherd, tree, work, driving your car, whatever it is. Those are all just metaphors, because you're at the apex of all of that. So I guess, again, this is it's a big subject. There's lots to play with on this, and it's fascinating when you play with it and you begin to look at things in a slightly larger, more expansive way. All the kind of different things that all of a sudden it's like they pop out of the scene, they pop out of the picture, they pop out of whatever it is that you're connecting with, and you go, maybe that's why kind of the Where's Waldo, wasn't that kind of puzzles or hidden picture puzzles that were so popular for a while, because it was sharpening our ability to tune in and see, and not just be able to read a picture or read a scene or read an experience of something, but to truly read it maybe on a multilingual level, on a multidimensional level, on a multisensorial level. Well, okay, not maybe, absolutely. Anyways, that's what's going on right now, and it's fascinating. It is just so sublimely delicious, and the beauty of what is unfolding in the complex intricacies and richness of every part that everyone is playing in a masterful way into bringing this all to a close. Jesus, we're good. We are so creative and so inspired in our creations. And we are this amazing, troupe of beings who are wrapping up this epic creation saga play. I'm not sure of the right words that you might put to it. It's miraculous. And the fun part is, well, there's lots of fun parts, but one of the fun parts is you don't have to see all of that to, on some level, understand it and play a vital role in it, because you are. You're playing a vital role in it. Because that knowing is innate. That ability to play the role that you signed up and said, yes, I'm in, to do, is right there, with all of yourself, and the joy and the excitement and the chutzpah that you're putting into playing this, that each one of us is delicious. And now you're coming to the hidden in plain sight, or the unhiding in the plain sight portion, where you're decoding and revealing to yourself what others is hidden in plain sight, what you yourself had hidden in plain sight. So if possible, if it's something you feel moved to do, choose to just encounter it and notice it and behold what's there, instead of saying, I don't get it, we're not there yet. Instead of that, we've played that. So play with the wonder of the hidden in plain sight and allow it to reveal to you, because there's so many levels, there's so many nuances to it, and each one that you in particular decode and allow to illuminate for yourself gives you codes to unlock others. And this isn't just, again, like I said, in the external world unfolding with stuff in the US, stuff in France, stuff in the countries of the EU. I'm talking about all sorts of things. I'm talking about within you. And that's another rambling of a big and inside job, which I'll play with. But there's so much going on, and if you only felt into and behold what is going on within you, wow, you will discover so much. So have fun with it. Play with it. Love yourself. Enjoy yourself. Truly be connected to yourself. And if those things are not familiar to you, then give yourself a break and then do those things. But it's a magnificent time. Standing room only, to be able to embody at this moment on this planet. And it's a ride. It's a wonderful, beautiful ride, and it changes everything for all. All two. I love you.